only where is this going to come into play in real life? Okay. So we're learning to find the percent of a number, learning to find the amount of a discount or sales tax, which is important to be able to do, and learning to solve problems that apply percent to common situations. So I saw people already starting this one without me. What is 48% of 50? So 50 is our total. 48% is a little less than halfway, and it goes on the percent side. So this is our percent side. And this, what is 48% of 50? Well, we know 48% is less than half, so it's going to be less than 25, right? But once we've made, are you copying this down? Once we filled in our chart, then we just get our proportion right from our graphic organizer here. Okay, so this transfers over, and we can make 100 over 48 equals 50 over x. We can just transfer it. Okay? So as soon as we set this up properly, it makes our proportion for us. And then we can use cross products to solve it. So we get 100x equals 48 times 50, which is 2,400. And we get x equal to 24. Okay, so we said it was going to be less than 25 because 25 is half, right? So we got x is 24. So what is 48% of 50? Therefore, 48% of 50 is 24. Okay? All right, so based on this one, try the next one on your own. Find 12% of 60. So set up this, then set up your proportions and solve it. What is 12% of 60? Think about where you put 12 according to 100 being the total and 0 being the bottom. Yeah, sure. Okay, some people going straight to setting the proportions. So for me, 12% is a lot closer to 0, which is at the bottom, than it is to 100. So there's my little t. Here's my 12%. I'm just estimating. 60 is my total. X is, I don't know what 12% of 60 is. Okay? So that's how I'm going to make my proportion. Okay, so Xander, what's my proportion going to be? You go right from this to making this. So see, I had 100 over 48 equals 50 over x. So 100 over 12 is equal to 60 over x. Yes, that's your proportion. Okay? Write that down, please. Then once you've got your proportion, we use cross products to solve it. So we're going to go find our x. 100 times x is 100x. 12 times 60 is 720. Okay? So then that's going to give us x as 7.2. Okay? So that, which makes sense. 60 is way up here, 7.2 is way down there. So therefore 7.2 is 12% of 60. Okay, so ask yourself, does your number make sense? Okay? Look at the picture to see if it makes sense. Reason it in your head, does it make sense? 12% is a small percentage. Okay? So if you got 12% of 60 and you got 55, alarm bell should be going off in your head. I typed something in my calculator wrong. Okay? What is 1.5% of 1,200? So 1.5% is really small. So right near the bottom. So you should be able to make your proportion. So make your proportion for this one. Why did I put 1.5 so far down? It's here's 100%, and the bottom means 0, so 1.5 is a lot closer to 0 than you get that. Okay. All right, so we've got 100 over 1.5 equals 1,200 over x is the proportion we can make from the picture. And then you've got 100x, so find your x and cross. And then your calculator, you're going to do 1.5 times 1,200, 1,800. And if you divide, you're going to get 18. So 1.5% is a very small percentage, so 18 makes sense. 18 is a low number compared to 1,200. So therefore, 18 is 1.5% of 1,200. Okay? So that's just a general idea. Now we're going to start applying it to real-life situations. We're going to have to think a little bit harder about what to do with our number. So a sweater regularly costs $34.99. It's on sale for 25% off. What is the amount of the discount? So how much money do you save? Okay? So if it's a 25% off sale, you're going to save 25% of the regular price. So for me, if this is 100, 25% is about here. And the full price of the sweater is $34.99. And so X is going to be how much money I save. You have to turn the page over, Xander. So then we can set up our proportion, 100 over 25. So we can see that 100x equals 25 times 34.99, which is, so just write down all the decimal places till the end of the question, 874.75. Divide by 100. And we get x is, so I get this, 8.7475. But it's money. So it's how much money we're saving. So I have to round to the nearest cent. So that 7 tells me to round that 4 up to a 5. Okay? So X is $8.75. So what is the amount of the discount? $8.75. So that's how much money you save. You save $8.75. You can write it down. Taking notes helps your brain make connections that you can then recall for later. So that's the amount of the discount. That's how much you save. But what would the sale price be? If I know that I saved $8.75 and it was originally $34.99, what would I do to figure out how much it costs now? You just subtract. Perfect. So you're going to do, so here's part 1 was finding the discount. Part 2, to get the sale price, all you have to do is subtract, like Sawyer said. So you're going to go $34.99, subtract $8.75. 26.24. So what is the sale price of the sweater? $26.24. Okay? So first we found the discount by setting up our proportion. We knew that we got $8.75 off. Then in order to find out the sale price, we subtracted. Does that make sense to everybody? Because when it's on sale, you're saving money, so you subtract. Okay, so the next question is the same type of question, and I'm just going to give you some time to try it. All right, so I noticed lots of people making their, Mr. Martin calls it a whisker chart, but see lots of people making it, so they got 100% at the top, and 30% off is below 50%, so put it around there, I guess. And the regular price is $45, and X is how much money I save. But I can make my proportion 100 over 30 equals 45 over X. So I get 100X equals 30 times 45, divide by 100, and we get X equal to 13.5. But we have to make that look like money, because it's money that we're saving. So our discount is, put a dollar sign here, $13.50. So what is the amount of the discount? $13.50. Okay, so regular $45, we saved $13.50. So this is our step 1. For part B, to get the sale price, we want to subtract $45, take away $13.50. $45 take away $13.50 means the sale price is $31.50. And again, make sure you use a dollar sign and then you have a 0 in for the cents. You know, just write $31.5, $31.50. Okay, so make sure the money part makes sense. Any questions about this one?
I'll be right back.
What's the matter? Okay, next one. The price of a hockey stick is $39.99. Sales tax is 15% of the price. So hopefully everybody knows that when you pay sales tax, you add it on. You're not taking it off, unfortunately. So that's money that the government collects from you buying the hockey stick. Okay? But we still find out how much that is the same way. So 100%, 15% is pretty low compared to 100. The hockey stick is regularly $39.99. You have to pay tax on it. Okay? So let's see how much we have to pay in taxes. So we got 100x equals $599.85. Remember to write down all the decimals until your final answer. And I see this number here, 5.9985. So this is one of the few times where your decimal gets a chain reaction happening. Because this 8 tells me to round the 9 up. But if this is already 599, what does rounding it up mean? It's already 599 and I have to round it up. What's the next cent do? It makes it $6. Does everyone see that? So if I round 599 up, it's really $6. Okay? So how much sales tax do you need to pay? $6 in sales tax. So this is A. B says, well then, with sales tax, what's the total price? So you gotta take your original $39.99 and add on $6. Okay? So you have to remember that in real life tax, you add tax on. $45.99. So $45.99 is how much you have to pay. Oops. All right, a pair of jeans has a regular price of $45. They're on sale for 25% off. A says, what is the amount of the discount? So everybody should be able to do that. So find the discount first. So 100% and 25% off. Oops. And then $45, and we want to know how much 25% off is going to be. So you can make your proportion. $11.25. And we get X equal to $11.25. So the amount of the discount is $11.25. Make sure you have dollars. B is different. So you kind of, for B, you have to know how a cash register works. Okay, and how sales and tax work. What is the total price of the jeans, including 15% sales tax? So if you go up to the cash register, they're going to first take the $11.25 off before they calculate sales tax. So they're going to first bring in your sale. And your new price is going to be $33.75. And that new price is going to be what they calculate your sales tax off of. Okay? So you have to find 15% of that in order to know what the tax is going to be. So here's my 100%. 15% is near to the bottom. My new price is $33.75. So that's what they calculate the sales tax off of, not the original one. They calculate the tax after they've taken off your discount. Okay? So that's going to lead me to make the proportion 100 over 15 equals 33.75 over X. So what we're doing right now is we're figuring out how much tax they're going to charge us. So 100X equals so that's going to be, so keep all the decimals and then figure out what's that going to be as dollars and cents. So my 2, keep 2 decimals for the cents, is going to tell my 6 what to do, so stay the same. So that means my tax is equal to $5.06. But it doesn't ask me the tax, it says what's the total price including the tax. So I still have to add the tax on to the sale price. So my total price is going to be $33.75 plus $5.06. Thank you. 38.81 is indeed correct. So the total price including sales tax is that. So total including tax. So there was lots of calculations we had to do in that question. Okay, we had to first figure out how much the discount was and subtract it. Then we had to figure out the amount of the sales tax, and then we had to add it on. Okay? Lots of parts to that question. And that's a common question. That would be something, if you want to know if you had enough money to buy a pair of jeans, that you would quickly want to be able to figure out if you did or not. Okay, so that's a common everyday life problem. And I think there's lots of apps on your phone that will, you can put in the amount and then put the amount of the discount in, put the amount of the tax in, and it will tell you the amount. But this is the math that goes into it. All right, is this our last one? Yeah, okay, so we'll do this one, and then it'll be lunchtime, and then you can come back and practice. Okay? So there are 1,400 students at a high school, 70% of them take the bus. So this is a similar question to the one we did in the first lesson. So we can start off with our first line being part A. So our first, or just part 1, I guess, it's better to write. So our first step, so 70% of them take the bus. So 70 is fairly close to 100. There's 1,400 students altogether. And we can figure out how many of them are going to take the bus. by doing our 100 over 70 is 1400 over x. Hey, he's still in the bathroom. And the second time was without permission. I didn't ask, I already said. So that's going to give us 980. So that's going to mean that 980 take the bus. Everybody good there? 980 of them take the bus. So our next line tells us that 18% are driven to school by their parents. So this is going to be our part 2. 18% are driven by their parents. So we've got 100%. 18 is pretty close to the bottom. There's 1,400 altogether. And we want to know how many of that then represents the 18%. So we do 100 over 18 equals 1,400 over x. So that's going to give me 100x equals. Thank you. And if I divide by 100, I get 252. So that means 252 are driven by their parents. Okay? So 980 take the bus, 252 are driven by their parents. This one's easy. 63 drive themselves to school. Okay, so that's our third one. We didn't even have to calculate it. 63. The rest walk. So I would figure that out by subtracting. So subtract it and see how many walk. All right, so if you subtract all of those, we're going to go 1,400, take away 980, take away 252, take away the 63 that drive themselves, and the rest walk. And did you get 105? Yeah? So how many students walk to school? Therefore, 105 students walk to school. So we had to use proportional reasoning twice to figure out how many take the bus and how many are driven by their parents. And then subtract off also the kids that drive themselves and the rest walk. Okay? All right, good job. All right, so